Welcome to Strip Coverlet. We squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I am Miriam, and we are here for day 2 of Hot and Sticky. Hashtag Hot and Sticky. So, how you feeling? Good? Hopefully. We are very early in the process. You are probably still flush with expectations of your project and not too worn down yet, especially at only 410 words a day. I don't know if you can hear that. It is storming like a mamma jamma here, and I will try to include maybe some footage of that after the credits. But I wanted to catch up with you on a couple things that I suggest for the novel writing process. One, I urge you to have a playlist of music. Now, not everyone writes with music, and it is not necessary that you do, absolutely. But I think that so if you're placing a playlist of music alongside a novel writing process, it should not be songs that motivate you. Neither should they be songs simply that you like. Maybe they should. I don't know. For you, the way I do it is that I pick songs that put me in a mental state. And that put me in the mental state in particular, which I am looking to convey with that novel. And for me, for this project, they are songs that put me in a very particular place in life. That sounds like a tornado. Hopefully not a cyclone, a twister in the Midwest. But the novel that I am writing is the journey of a family. So I am trying to draw upon a very particular time in my life. So this playlist that I have created for my project includes a lot of Eddie Vedder and Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. But one thing in particular, so I am trying to evoke in myself a very specific mindset and also very specific moments from life. For example, Hunger Strike by Temple of the Dog. Hunger Strike is a song which is Chris Cornell plus Pearl Jam, essentially. This was before they were Pearl Jam, but it was after he was Chris Cornell. It was supposed to be a solo project, and the song itself dropped in 1991. I was 6 years old. And every time I hear this song, there is some flash of a memory when my family was in the drive-thru to a bank, cashing my father's check. And I asked, what was the mouth of decadence? There's a phrase in that song, the mouth of decadence, and I didn't understand that. And I asked, and my father went ballistic. And that mindset, that very moment, that really small memory is something which I am trying to evoke by including that song in a playlist for this novel. Now I say, it is not necessary that you listen to music while you write, so why would you want a playlist if you don't do that? Well, it's very simple. If your playlist puts you in a mindset, whether you utilize it during the time of writing or not, say you do your writing because you're going to have to fall into a pattern. So if, like me, you work 40 hours a week and you set up the time after work as that time which you are more than likely doing the bulk of your writing, you would listen to that playlist on your way home to put you in that mindset so that when your ass meets that chair, it's go time. You don't have to sit and dawdle. You don't have to work yourself up. And a real writer doesn't have to do those things anyway. But even for a real writer, many of those words at the beginning of sitting down might be wasted. Many of those words were your intellect and your emotions not primed might be wasted. And what I do with my playlist, like I said, is I try to underride the overriding intelligence to things. so that I don't sit down and think, okay, well, today I'm going to be writing the scene X, Y, and Z, and the emotional core of this scene is going to be a very upset young man. No, what you do is you sit down, you get in that place so that you are writing actual emotions instead of someone trying to write emotions, as so often is the case. And that's where a lot of times when someone is writing a character trying to be an emotion, that we get telling instead of showing. Now also there is the danger of falling into an emotional type of writing, but it is easier to edit that out on a second draft than it is to infuse emotion into a second draft. Very difficult to infuse emotion to a second draft. That's why a lot of writers say, the old Hemingway quote, write drunk, edit sober. It's very difficult to get a core, an investment in the piece on a second draft. But it's very easy to take too much of it out. It's very easy to edit out the slop if your writing does in fact become sloppy. And the second thing that I would like to advise as we embark upon this journey is to find a companion text. And what does that mean? A companion text is to do many things for you during your writing process, but first and foremost, it is important to remember that you are not trying to write that companion text. For me, for example, with this novel and the strange journey of a dysfunctional family, I have chosen to utilize As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner for my companion text. Now, it is important for me to remember not to try to write As I Lay Dying, because there's no way that I could. I am not that writer. I will never be that writer. I could sit down for 1,000,000 years and try to come up with something as perfect as I Lay Dying, and I won't do it. It'll never happen. But a companion text should do something that playlist might not, and that is to motivate you. It should inspire you. It should be a piece that you look at in a grandiose fashion, that you look at and you think this is a paradigm of the writing world. That is important for a companion text. Another thing is, along those same lines, a companion text should make you jealous. Every time I read As I Lay Dying, I get a little bit mad because I'm never going to be that writer. I'm never going to be that good. It motivates me in a very writerly fashion because it is so good, and I never will be that good. But it is not discouraging in that way. Neither is it encouraging. I will not say that. But there is such beauty and such tenderness and such malignity and such maliciousness and such caprice in this novel that to sit down and read it and all of the different points of view that come into play, it's impossible not to come away from that and feel like, wow, these things can be done in literature, and if I could hit 1% of that, it'd be great. But it does make you jealous as well, knowing that such things like this can exist and you've never done them. But also, your companion text. First and foremost, I'm sorry, I should have said this at the beginning. The companion text to your novel is a text that should accomplish something which you are trying to accomplish in your novel. If you're trying to write something very visceral, Fight Club might be a good companion. If you're trying to write something simple in its beauty, The Old Man and the Sea might be a good companion. For me, as trying to write the story of a dysfunctional family on some type of journey, As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner is that novel. I'm trying to look around and see different things. If you're trying to write this, a thriller, Silence of the Lambs might work for you. If you're trying to write a scary story, perhaps Stephen King's It. But the final point I want to make with what a companion text should do. It should be a text with which you are so familiar that you can just, because you don't want to get lost in the work, so you don't want to read it beginning to end. But it should be a work with which you are so familiar that you can just open up, look at a page, start reading, and you know sort of where you are. And that's very important because the companion text is something that you're not, like I say, not looking to necessarily read, and because you're not writing by numbers, you're not painting by numbers this novel. You're simply, when you get to a place where you don't know what you're doing, you pick that up, you flip it to a random page, and you just sort of go. You just sort of read a little bit and try to find your footing back in your own project. That's what I use a companion text for anyway. So I am looking forward to the comment section below and seeing where you are with your text. For me, I did something, this is the first time for a Hot and Sticky that I have chosen a work in progress. So my project is something that I began last October. So I spent the eve of Hot and Sticky typing it up as it was handwritten in a notebook. So I spent a few hours with a cigar typing it up, and it is, after day one of Hot and Sticky, just short of 5,000 words. So hopefully by the end of this thing I will have nearly an entire manuscript, a completed story and nearly an entire manuscript. And certainly if I did the full 50,000 words, in addition to the 4,000 that I had, 54,000 words could be classified easily as a novel, as there are definitely things that are classified as novels which fall short of that. Slaughterhouse-Five, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Old Man and the Sea, things like that come far short of 60,000 words. The Great Gatsby, I believe, almost definitely. So where are you with your project? I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas, maybe, if you want to leave any details about your work in the section below. If you are a content creator, I would be interested in seeing your videos. Make sure, if you are a content creator, that you let me know somewhere on social media that you've dropped one of these. I have a huge feed as far as the booktubers that I am subscribed to, so it's very easy for me to miss a video that pops in once in a while. But I wish you luck on your Hot and Sticky journey, hashtag Hot and Sticky, and I hope to hear from you in the comments section, on social media, and as we journey through Hot and Sticky of 18.